Hi guys, happy Monday. Today I'd like to introduce for you our final unit, the Geosphere, which we're going to be doing through a project that will take us through our last couple of weeks of the school year. So the guiding idea for our Geosphere unit is, what is the Earth made of, how is it changing, and why do we care? The goals are that you will be able to demonstrate your understanding of the Earth's interior composition, how Earth is continually changing, and the effects of Earth's changes on humans. The lens that we're going to use to look at this is geological disasters, which are pretty fascinating, in my opinion. So this project will happen in 5 stages over several weeks. This document, the Geosphere Project Student Hyperdoc, is going to be your guiding overview of what we're going to be doing. So I'm just going to briefly describe each step, and I will be adding things to this document as we go, as we are working on them and as we need them. So the first stage is for you to pick your disasters. And so I'm going to be posting an assignment on Google Classroom so that you can learn about the geological disasters. And you're going to pick 2 to study in depth. So you'll pick one volcano and one earthquake to study in great detail. The second stage is to learn about the geosphere itself. So I'm going to provide a couple assignments for you on Google Classroom. I'm going to provide some vocabulary via Quizlet. I'm going to give you guys some notes. Those are going to help you learn about the layers of the Earth and plate tectonics, and about how plate tectonics causes earthquakes and volcanoes. After you complete stage 2, you'll be ready to apply your understanding of the geosphere to the disasters you're studying. So you'll complete an assignment on Google Classroom that asks you to identify and analyze the science behind the disasters you are studying. Coupled with stage 3 is stage 4, which is looking at the impact on humans. And so this will be part of the same assignment as stage 3, and you're going to be identifying and analyzing the impact of the disasters on people locally and globally. The last part of this project, which you will have an entire week for, is to present your findings. So you'll choose one of the following ways to commemorate the disasters and demonstrate your understanding of the geosphere. So we're going to use 3 formats that we've already used in this class. So the first format is doing a commemorative sign. We did a commemorative sign for the severe weather events in the atmosphere. So that's familiar to us. The second option is to do a commemorative Google Slides presentation. We did a Google Slides presentation in the exosphere, so that's familiar to us as well. And option 3 is to make a commemorative one-pager. And of course, you guys just did a hydrosphere one-pager for me. And I believe we did one for the exosphere as well, so you're familiar with that format also. This project will be independent, and my hope is to give you plenty of time for each step. And so I'll be adding detailed instructions about what's happening in each step as we go. Right now, all you need to worry about is stage 1. So on Google Classroom, you have a document posted that looks like this, has a bunch of links in it. The instructions say, pick one of the following earthquakes and one of the following volcanoes to study. Use the links provided in the table for each earthquake and volcano to learn about your choices so that you can choose some that are interesting to you. So the first link for every one of these is a video. Some of them are longer than others. And then the second two links are resources, either articles or government websites or university websites that share important information about each of these events. So you're going to pick one earthquake, you're going to pick one volcano to study. All right, so please do a thorough job and make sure you pick something that's interesting to you. These are all kind of unique. They all happened in either the 20th or 21st century. I wanted to make sure there was lots of good information on them. But you have a lot of options to study. So the Alaskan Good Friday earthquake and tsunami was really important because it kind of triggered our current understanding of plate tectonics. The Tohoku, I obviously don't speak Japanese, earthquake and tsunami. This is the one that caused the nuclear meltdown at Fukushima. So this is a really interesting event as well. There's the 1960 Valdivia earthquake. This was in Chile. And this was really significant. It was the biggest ever recorded earthquake. So that's kind of significant. And we know that more intense earthquakes have occurred historically, but this is the only one that we have any data on. So the Valdivia earthquake was pretty important. There is the 2004 Boxing Day earthquake and tsunami that hit Sumatra, and that was really significant because of the magnitude of the tsunamis that it caused. And then we also have the 2010 Haiti earthquake, which also caused some tsunamis. And it was a really significant humanitarian crisis. And so each of these kind of has their own unique factors that make them interesting to study. Looking at our volcanoes, 91 eruption of Mount Pinatubo is one of the largest eruptions that we have seen in recent times. And so that's really what makes it so interesting to study, is because it was such a significant eruption. The 1985 Nevado del Ruiz eruption in Colombia was really unique because it was predicted by volcanologists, and the local authorities weren't really taking them seriously. And so there were no evacuations, and an entire town of 20,000 people was covered in lahar, which is almost like wet cement that is produced sometimes during volcanic eruptions with heavy rain. And it was just a really good example of why it can be so important to act on scientific predictions and to err on the side of caution. Mount St Helens in 1980. This is significant because it happened in the United States, and it's probably the largest volcanic eruption in recent history in the continental United States. Obviously, Hawaii is erupting all the time. And this spread a huge ash cloud across the entire country, and it was a very big deal. 2010, this Icelandic volcano that I cannot possibly try to pronounce. If you Google how to pronounce it, there's this very sweet, wholesome looking Icelandic fellow who will tell you how to pronounce it. I've watched that video probably like 50 times. I have still no idea. This was interesting. This was in 2010, very disruptive to international flights. It shut down air travel for the most significant amount of time and the most significant global impact since 9/11. And so people who were in Europe or the US or wherever were stranded, and So it was really significant from that standpoint. It really shut down international air travel. And then lastly, we have the 2018 eruption in Hawaii, which was very significant in that it wiped out an entire subdivision. And fortunately, it was predicted, and so people have plenty of time to get out of the way, but it was very impressive, and just kind of goes to show the risk that we take when we live near an active volcano. So hopefully you can find one earthquake and one volcano that's interesting to you. Some of them have a more humanitarian side, some of them have more of just a scientifically significant side, and so you can decide what appeals to you. Once you pick, you're going to tell me which ones you picked right here, and then you'll go through the basic history. It's just a couple questions. When did it happen? How long did it last? Where did it happen? I'm trying to give a lot of detail. Just be like, it happened in Alaska. I want you to tell me what part of Alaska. I want you to tell me what towns were affected and all those kinds of things. Same for the volcanoes. When did the event occur? How long did it last? Where did it occur? And then it's also important to look at how many times has this happened historically in that area. A lot of these places you'll find commonly have earthquakes or volcanic events because of where they are. So most of your information to answer questions 1 through 4 should be available in the videos and websites that I provided for you. So you do not need to cite those. But if you have to look up anything else independently, please provide a citation. You can just use like an MLA format, something like that. At the very least, provide the link so I can check out the website. Remember, we really want to use .gov or .edu websites as much as possible to study these. But I would also say if you're using a reputable news source, so if you use an article from NPR or like BBC or something like that, that's totally fine as well. Okay, let me know if you have questions. This is your first assignment, and later this week we will start to look into that stage 2 part of understanding the geosphere. So I'll post a few things on Google Classroom for you probably on Wednesday regarding understanding layers of the earth and plate tectonics. Thanks so much, you guys. I'm really excited to be working through this unit with you. I love you. Keep staying strong out there and take care of yourselves. Okay, bye.